All right, welcome everybody. This is Barney Kuntze from the YLSS Summit. I am the founder and creator and also a gold leader in Young Living Essential Oils, my network marketing company of choice. I know that some of you who are listening, most of you who are listening to this call live are involved in Young Living. I know that some of you listening to this call as it's being recorded in the future might belong to another company. And we have a special guest with us tonight who has been very impactful in my life personally and professionally. In regards to my development when it comes to just learning how to work with my team in a better way, understanding my personality better, which has been kind of scary and funny at the same time and entertaining. And then also just learning how to work with prospects, how to prospect people better in a more efficient, effective way. And our guest tonight is Big Al. His name is Tom Schreiter, but he's very well known as Big Al. So Big Al, thank you so much for making the time to join us tonight.
Well, thanks for inviting me, and should we get to work right away so people can take notes?
Sounds great.
Okay, so first thing that people run across is this problem. We're talking to people and they lean back, they fold their arms, they're skeptical, things get horrible. And we wonder, why does that happen? Why is it that some people are good to us, some people are bad? Maybe we say the same things, or maybe we say different things. We don't know why. So let me share the story about Romania. I'm in Romania, and this lady comes up to me, and she says, I've talked to everybody in my village. There's 25,000 people in my village, and I've talked to them all. I says, really? Yeah. And she says, nobody wants to join. I said, really? Oh, what do you say to them? She says, well, I say, I have a wonderful business opportunity, and you can earn $25,000 a month. And I said, is that what you told everyone? Oh, yeah, I told everyone. Is that how you started every time? Yeah. And I said, well, maybe you should say something different. And the point of the story is people react to us. So if you're giving a class on oils, or if you're talking to somebody about a business opportunity, what we say early makes a huge difference, almost everything. So we can actually control the outcome because people are reactive. When I say reactive, what I mean is people don't really think. They just go through life on autopilot. And by autopilot, well, let's try this. I go out into the parking lot right now and I give somebody $100. Do you think they're going to react? And they're going to say, well, yeah, they're going to react. They're going to say, hey, that was great. Do you have any more? That was wonderful. Or I go out into the parking lot and I give somebody a punch in the nose. They're going to react also. So the question is, does the reaction of the people in the parking lot have anything to do with them or everything to do with what I did and said? And the answer is everything to do with what I did and said. So when we talk to people, if they lean forward or lean back, it's probably because of what we said. So let's try a couple of things that we can say that will make it easy. First of all, people are scared of salespeople. They're saying, oh man, they're going to try to sell me something. It's going to be miserable. So the first thing we can do is give them sort of a way out. That way they don't feel like they're cornered. And by a way out, I mean it's just little words at the end of our opening statement that give them a chance to opt out. So let's try this. What if you started by saying, would you like to know how I put away a bunch of money? And most people are going to say, yeah. So they had a chance to say no or to change the subject. And they don't feel cornered. Or how about this? Maybe you're at work and maybe it's a miserable job. We've all had miserable jobs in the past that we didn't like. So let's say it's a miserable job and we say staying here at our job until we die and not changing anything is a plan, but I don't think it's a good plan for me. Well, what about you? And now they say, wow, I have a chance to talk. It's not some monologue. And they'll probably start saying, you know, it's not a good plan for me, and start selling themselves. Or you might end up by saying, would you like to know more? Or should we talk about it sometime? Little phrases at the end of our opening gets people to say, I have a chance to run away. I don't feel pressure. I don't feel cornered. Now we can talk and we can have a good conversation. So let's try this. If you have a pencil and paper, write down these words. Let's sort it out. I'm not sure how you would say that in Canada, Barney, but let's sort it out. Let me just give you an example.
That's pretty close.
Pretty close. I guess you have to say A at the end, all right?
It's sorted out.
Yeah. So let's say we're talking about natural cleaners or natural things at home. I say, you like to keep things natural around your home? And they will say, well, yeah. And say, would you like to have less chemicals in your home? They go, yeah. And then you would say, okay, let's sit down and sort this out now. They say, wait a minute. That sort of sounds like people would make up their mind yes immediately, and they're already leaning forward and say, yeah, I want to sort it out. So that little phrase right there makes it a lot easier for people to say, yes, I want to know about it. Yes, I want to buy. Yes. So let's try this. Do you want to lose an extra 10 pounds in the next few weeks? Well, yeah. I said, would it be okay if all you had to do was change what you had for breakfast? They will say, well, yeah, sure, that'd be great. Okay, let's sit down and sort this out now. And now you're sitting down and they say, wow, that was really easy. They've already made their yes decision before we started. Let's try another one. Do you want to stop commuting to that job you hate? And they say, oh, yeah, I would. So would it be okay if you worked out of your home instead? Yeah. Okay. Let's sit down now and sort this out. Well, yeah. Let's talk. And they are looking for reasons to join now instead of reasons not to join. Barney, are things expensive in Canada?
Yeah, I guess it depends who you ask, but some would say so.
Yeah. So let's try this. You might say to somebody at work, do you find it hard getting by on one paycheck? And they go, yeah, of course. Things are so expensive now. Beer doubled in price. All right. So would it be okay if you had an extra paycheck? Well, yeah. Let's sit down now and sort it out. The sale, the closing is already over. It's done. And we haven't even mentioned anything yet. And people are amazed that that's how quick people make decisions. And the reason we do that is we got a lot of stuff to make decisions on. In the last couple of moments, you probably made a decision. Oh, I got to breathe. Time for my heart to beat again. Create 30,000 new digestive enzymes. Should I stand or sit? What's that noise outside? Is it going to be dangerous? What am I going to eat tonight? What's on TV? We got a lot of decisions to make. So people want to make a decision about us and what we have to offer instantly and get it over with so they can get on with the other decisions they have to make. And people say, that makes sense. They're just going to quickly sort us out. Yep, they're going to quickly sort us out, yes or no, if they're interested. So if there's anybody on the call over 50, you might say, do you want to stay in that job and this retirement? And they might say, no, the retirement's hardly anything. Okay, well, sure, let's sit down and sort it out. Easy as that. Or for skincare, you might say, do you want to keep your skin from wrinkling while you sleep? Well, yeah, of course I do. Would it be okay if you tried our nighttime moisturizer and see how much difference it would make? Well, yeah, that makes sense. Well, let's sit down and sort it out now and get them some product. Just about anything we could say is over in just a few seconds. And by saying, let's sort it out now, they don't feel pressured. So that's a good way to start. But there's other phrases we could use. So let's try this one if you're writing them down. Let's sort it out. Let's try this one. Let me fix that for you now. Let me fix that for you now. So how would that work? You say, got a lot of stress in your life? And they say, yeah. Said, would it be okay if you could get rid of some of your stress without killing your husband? Yeah. Well, let me fix that for you now. Oh, yeah. What we got to do? And now you're in conversation about stress. Or how about this one? Let me order you a couple bottles now. That's a nice way of answering. So let's try this. Do you notice that getting old really hurts? Well, yeah, I notice that every day. Would it be okay if you could feel younger and better by drinking a couple shots of this juice every morning? Yeah. Well, let me order you a couple bottles now. That wasn't too hard. Or maybe you're brand new and you're saying, well, I'm not really comfortable talking to people yet. I'm not a professional. I don't know what to say. So you're standing waiting for the bus or train going to work, and you say, hey, freezing here, waiting for the train is miserable. And they say, yeah, totally agree. Should we make an escape plan from our jobs? And they say, well, yeah, it'd be great. I says, well, let's have coffee with my sponsor on Saturday. He has some ideas. And they say, yeah, that'd be a good idea. Let's have coffee with your sponsor on Saturday. So closing early means the rest of our conversation is all downhill. It's very easy. It's a conversation. It's not a sales presentation. People are open-minded. So for everyone here to make a yes decision. So people would say, yes, tell me more to a lot of things. So if you say, would you like to make the home safer? Yeah, tell me more. Or would you like your skin to feel better naturally? Yeah, tell me more. Or would you like less chemicals in your home? Yeah, tell me more. Would you like to stop stuffing chemicals inside your children's mouth twice a day when they brush their teeth? Yeah, tell me more. Would you like to have more energy than your grandchildren? So when they come over, they whine, Grandma, slow down, I can't keep up. Yeah, tell me more. Would you like to have something for breakfast that will actually help you control your weight? Yeah, tell me more. So people will say, yes, tell me more if we say good things. So if you're giving an oil workshop or nutrition lecture or just talking to somebody across the table and you don't like their answers, remember, they just react to what we say. So for everyone on the call, here's probably what will make the biggest difference, the most difference in your business. And that is, once we realize that our prospects make the final decision before we even start our presentation, that's when the final decision happens, we won't end up giving this long presentation and then at the end have sweaty palms and get rejected and feel bad. We won't be saying things like, oh, do you want to join? Would you like to buy? Please, my baby needs shoes. That's awful. And we use terrible closes at the end where people run on the other side of the street. They avoid us for the rest of their life or make fun of us at family reunions. We don't want to do that. And we don't need to do that because the reality is people make the yes or no decision instantly when we meet them. It's not at the end of our presentation. And people say, oh, wait, but I want to talk about the quality, and I want to talk about the mission, and I want to talk about from seed to seal. And these are all good things, but it happens after they make a decision. The first thing they're going to do is quickly sort us out. They're going to say, I need to make a yes or no decision if I want to listen to you talk or not. If I make a yes decision, I'm probably going to buy or join. And people say, how can they possibly make a decision before they know anything? So if you're brand new, when you learn the skills of the business, things change. there's really two steps in our business. The first step is we got to get our head right. That's called personal development. You know, we read motivational books, we make vision boards, we set goals, we chant affirmations, we sing the company song, we have positive thoughts, we meditate, we try to have a positive attitude. This is pretty necessary because if you don't think positively, if you're depressed all the time, we're not going to do well in the business. If you go to a party, who do you stand next to? The people that are negative, the people that are positive, the positive people. So the first step is personal development, but we can't stay there forever. We have to take the next step. And what happens is a lot of people hide behind personal development and are afraid to take the next step. The next step is we actually have to have the skills to make it happen, which is knowing what to say. So if you're on this call, if you're going to do it for a business or want to affect a lot of people's lives, remember there's two steps. If you stay at step one, personal development forever, well, yeah, you'll probably have a more fulfilling life, but not a very profitable life in this business. So you need two steps. The second step is learning the hardcore skills. A good example is I go over to Toronto Airport, get on an airplane. The captain says, "Welcome aboard. I don't know how to fly this plane, but I have a pretty good attitude today." Well, I'm not going to get on that plane because I don't want to die. And it's the same with people. When they look at us, it's nice if we're positive. But what we know about people is they probably hate their lives. They want more, but they don't have a plan. So they're looking for somebody with a plan, and of course that would be us. And they're looking for somebody who knows where they're going, and that would be us. And the last thing is they want to make sure we have the skills to get there safely. And boy, that's where it all goes wrong, especially for me when I started. When people looked at me when I started, they said, "Man, I'm going to die on your mission. I'm going to die in your trip." So they didn't want to join. So what they look for is a certain amount of skills from us. So please, if you're on this call, upgrade the skills and everything changes. You don't have to find prospects that want things. You can change that instantly just by the words you say. So the first little skill that we need to learn is people make decisions before the presentation. And here's the little story you can tell your downline so they get it. So they don't worry so much about all the facts and figures and stuff. Our job is to get the decision. After that, we can tell them about the quality, we can tell them about the seed to seal, we can tell them about the compensation plan, we can tell them all that stuff later, but that's after they made the mental yes decision to join. So here's the story. Let's go to the movies. And I think the latest movie by Disney is Beauty and the Beast. And I don't want to ruin this for everybody or be a spoiler, but you know, the beauty wins at the end. So I go up to you and say, let's go to the movies. The new Disney movie opens today. So we go down to the movie theater, we stand in line for several minutes, we buy our overpriced tickets, and then we go inside and buy all that really healthy popcorn with all that extra oil, butter, and salt, and get a giant pre-diabetic soda drink and a few candy bars to hold us over during the meeting. So we sit down in our theater seats, and they start showing us commercials. And we have these overpriced tickets, and they're showing us more commercials. This is terrible. But after about 15 minutes, they know we had enough, and they start showing us some previews of upcoming movies. And they do it at mega decibels, so we almost turn deaf. But finally, the Disney movie starts. And for the next 90 minutes, we're swept away in this fantastic world of Beauty and the Beast, and we enjoy the action on the screen. Now, at the end of the movie, they show the credits. And across the screen goes, the director was somebody. The producer was this, the animation studio did this, who did the lighting, won a couple awards, who was the grip, who was the staff, and blah, 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 and then we leave. Now, here's the question. At what point in this process, from the moment I began talking to you, all the way to the end, to the last credit that said Disney owns all right, at what point during this timeline did we make the decision to go to that movie? People say, well, at the very beginning, before we even went to the ticket office, and that's correct. That's how humans make yes or no decisions about us, our products, and our opportunity. We made our decision before we had any information, before we saw the movie, before we saw the presentation, even before we saw the credits rolling down the screen. Our decision was over just that quickly. And if you're just brand new, you're thinking, that's kind of weird. But no, it's not weird. It's normal. Women hate this. They look at a man, the man's in front of the TV with the remote control, click, 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 click. And she looks at the man and says, man, this person's an idiot. He's making his final decision to watch this channel or not before he's even seen anything. Just click, 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 click. And that's true. We make our final decision almost instantly, and then we're on to the next thing. So when you meet prospects, guess what? In the first 20 seconds, 30 seconds, they've already made their yes or no decision, and their decision is, yes, I want to buy, yes, I want to join, or no, I'm not interested. How do I get out of this conversation gracefully? It's just the way it is. Now, all I'm going to ask you to do is just think about that for the rest of the week. Once you see this, you say, all I have to do is be professional during the first 20 or 30 seconds, and I got it. Remember, the second step is having certain skills. The skills is to manage those first 20 or 30 seconds. If you're professional during that time, people say, man, you look good. I want to be on your team. And this is what happened to me. I didn't get this originally. But when I started network marketing, I worked hard, gave great presentations. I studied engineering. I had 3D flip charts. It was awesome, and nobody joined. Nobody bought. But I had an upline 4 levels up from me named Bob, and Bob would sit down with people, and he would say, well, and they would say, I want to join. This drove me crazy. I hated Bob's guts. I said, how can you do this? I work every waking hour, nobody signs up. He sits down, he says, well, and they join. And what happened is people can sense if we have skills or not. In Texas, we have a saying, dogs know who to bite. So when we sit down and we have mastery over the first 20 or 30 seconds, people say, oh, yeah, I like to be on your team. I like to follow you. I don't have a plan. This seems great. So what we want to do is master that time with some pretty hard-core skills. Okay, so let's take a look at some more cool things we could say to sort people out. If you just are with somebody that you don't have a really good relationship with, try these 4 words. You might want to write them down. I am just curious. Now, when you say, I am just curious, something magical happens in people's brains. All their negativity goes away, their skepticism goes away. It's just magic. So I could say to somebody in conversation, who maybe I just met, I'm just curious, do you ever have stress in your life? And they're going to say, well, yeah. And we're already in conversation, kind of bonded. We have that rapport going. So I'm just curious, do you ever want more peace and calm around your home? Yeah. Or I'm just curious, would you like to protect your children and kind of build their immune system before they go to school? Oh, yeah. Or I'm just curious, would you like to work out of your home instead? Yeah. So when we talk to people, those first words make the difference. You say, well, what else could I say besides I am just curious? A nice way to start is with a small fact that they believe. One of the first things people do is let the back of their mind have a first impression. When we meet people in the first couple seconds, they're going to say, can I trust you and believe you or not? If we want to control that activity to have them trust and believe us, we better do something about it. If they don't trust us and they don't believe us, and if they're skeptical, no matter what we say about the product or opportunity, it's just not going to work. If I go to Canada and I say these words, trust me, I'm an American, chances are there's going to be some skepticism, a lot, because of the words I chose to use. So when you meet people or maybe talk to a skeptical relative, you're thinking, okay, I better manage this in a hurry. How am I going to manage their skepticism alarm? And we're going to say this. We're going to say one fact in the known universe that they believe and we believe. One fact. Because what happens if you say one fact that they believe and you believe, they say, you and I think the same. We're joined at the hip. We're Vulcan mind meld, blood brother, blood sister. They instantly say, you see the world from the same viewpoint I do, so I can believe what you say from this point forward. So let me give you some facts that are good to use when you start. If you're doing a lecture, you might start by saying, we all want more natural and less chemical in our lives. What are people going to say? Inside their mind, they make a decision. Wow, yeah, that's right. You read my mind. You have Vulcan mind reading powers. You and I think the same. And that wasn't very hard at all. So let's try this. Maybe we start our facts with, growing old really hurts. And they say, man, you're right. Let me tell you, I hurt everywhere. And, well, they're pre-selling themselves before we've even said anything. Or opportunity. We could say, jobs really interfere with the weak. And they're thinking, amen, brother. You got that right. Man, mine's taken 5-6 days. Or we could say, commuting to work burns a lot of money in petrol. I say, oh, yeah, you can't believe how much I spent on petrol. Or, losing weight is difficult. If you said that to me, inside my mind, I'm saying, here is all my money. Finally, somebody understands me. Because, I'm big boned. That's been my problem, and I'm allergic to exercise. I break out in a sweat. So just that simple start of words that they agree with, they say, hey, you and I can talk at a level now where all the skepticism has gone away. You say, well, all right, I could probably talk to people better. I could just start with these simple facts. Where am I going to find these people? Now, remember, people are pretty much neutral until they meet us. And they're going to decide to be a good prospect or a bad prospect after they meet us. So what we have to think about is, who do we talk to that's going to give us the best chance, because we only have limited time, and then we're going to have to say good stuff. So let's take a look at some good people to talk to. If you have a pen and paper, write down this little mantra or rule or principle, whatever you want to call it, but it goes like this. The purpose of business is to solve other people's problems. The purpose of business is to solve other people's problems. In other words, if they don't have problems, well, we don't have a business. If people never got hungry, having a restaurant would be silly. If people never got sleepy, having a hotel would be stupid. If people live forever, selling health products wouldn't make sense. If people's skin never wrinkled, selling skincare wouldn't make sense. If people are all fantastically rich beyond their wildest imagination, having a business opportunity wouldn't make sense. So the purpose of business, the only reason for business to exist is to solve other people's problems. So what we want to do is find people with problems. And you say, well, that's not hard. Every time our family reunion gets together, my in-laws whine and complain and complain and complain. These are professional problem people, all right? So we're going to find people with problems, which means negative people are the best. We are going to go out of our way to find negative people because they have problems. And you say, okay, but is it true that maybe some people don't want to fix their problems? Yeah, a lot of people don't want to fix their problems. Maybe you're talking to this 80-year-old grandmother about health products, and you say, oh, I'll help you with this, this, and this. And she says, but my children visit me more when I pretend to be sick. So she has a problem, but she doesn't want to fix it because then her children wouldn't visit her as much. So some people have problems and don't want to fix it. We need to sort that out really quick. Some people say, if I couldn't complain, I wouldn't have anything to talk about. Some people just enjoy having problems. If they don't, they create problems for themselves. They're self-sabotaging just so they can be a professional victim. So for these people, why they do have problems, they're not going to be prospects for us because they want to keep their problem. So here's how we sort that out very quickly. You might want to write down this little phrase. Would you like to do something about it? Our strategy should be to go out and find people that whinge, whine, moan, complain, and as soon as they take a breath, we're just simply going to say, would you like to do something about it? And they have a chance to say yes or no. Now, they probably won't say the actual words yes or no, but when you ask people, would you like to do something about it, they might say, wow, yeah, what can I do? That's a yes. Or you say, would you like to do something about it? They say, well, don't interrupt me. I'm not through complaining. That might give you an idea they don't want to do something about it. But that little phrase will save you a lot of grief. Plus, that means that the people we talk to are going to be pre-sold looking for a solution to their problems. So let's try this. I'm at McDonald's or Tim Hortons, and the clerk says, my feet hurts. I've been standing here all day. And I might say, would you like to do something about it? And they say, no, nothing like this works. Everything's a pyramid. I'm not a salesman. I don't want to do anything. I just want to, I got the idea. So if they say no, no matter how they say it, I'm simply going to add this phrase, and what else bothers you? And they go, let me tell you what else bothers you. The greasy floor and the greasy manager. Here's the situation. They had a problem. I asked if they want to do something about it. They said no. I gave them a chance to complain about something else. We're done. No rejection. No rejection at all. They don't even know I have a business. I was just making conversation. So the key words are, would you like to do something about it? Or underneath that, you can write a more polite phrase. Have you ever considered doing something about it? Have you ever considered doing something about it? You might say something like that to a mother or close friend. And what happens is people sort themselves out so quickly that now you're talking to somebody who's pre-sold. You use one of the opening sentences we've talked about. They make a yes decision, and now it's just leisurely sit back over a cup of tea and talk about things, get them enrolled, order them a couple bottles, whatever they need. So let's try this again. You're at work, and the person next to you says, the dentist bill came in, and my car payments are too high, and this job, the coffee's cheap and gives me an upset stomach. What are we going to say as soon as we have a chance? Would you like to do something about it? And in just that moment, we've sorted things out, and it's instant, over, done, and we can move on, yes or no. So Barney, I could give examples like this all day long. Should we take some questions coming up, or should we do some more examples?
Yeah, for sure. There was and that was really great, by the way. It was reminding me of the things that I'm doing well and the other larger list of the things that I have room for improvement on. So one of the questions
So,
oh,
mhm.
from Lisa is, what's the best way to approach strangers for or at businesses you want to recruit? So just talking to other people, I would presume, in other businesses that you want to recruit.
I usually start with hi.
That's a good way to start.
And the reason you start that, people want a shortcut. They say, I don't want to take any time building a relationship with anybody. I just want everything to be transactional. Just give me your money or not. I don't want to build relationships or spend any time helping anybody. I just want to meet strangers on the street and say, give me your money, join so I can make some money. And that's probably not the best attitude to go into it with. But if you would take a look how humans make up their mind, the first question in their mind is, who are you? The first decision inside the human's mind is, who are you? Are you my cousin that stole my bicycle 30 years ago? Or are you a stranger? Or are you some dude with a hockey mask and an axe, walking around? Are you some stranger that looks like a sleazy salesman trying to pitch me on something? We might trigger that. But starting with hi is usually pretty good. And then right after that is ask a question. In Western civilization, there's a certain format you go through. You have to start asking questions that are not very invasive. You don't say, "Hi, how much do you weigh?" It's a little bit too quick. You might say, "Hi, how are you?" Usually say, "Where are you from?" Uh, or at a party. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do for a living? Those are the first three things that's socially acceptable. So think about that at a party. Hi, what's your name? All right. And where are you from? That seems pretty safe. What do you do for a living? Okay. Those are socially acceptable to start. It's not socially acceptable. Hi. Do you feel broke all the time? Would like to have a business? It's not right. So there's certain steps we have to go through. The first step is who you are. For people in this call, we can't change that right now. It's going to take some personal development. We are who we are right now. It's kind of a long-term thing. But the second step, the second question out of the 5 questions in people's minds is, can I trust you and believe you? That's something we can do something about. So if you're going to meet strangers, here's your chance to be a mind reader. Every stranger is going to do this. Who are you? And can I trust you and believe you? You can't change who you are, but you can change number 2. Can you trust and believe you? Actually, you can change who you are over time with personal development, but not within those couple seconds. So if you want people to trust you and believe you, we just covered one of the techniques is to talk to people in facts that they can agree upon. The more facts you say that they agree upon, the deeper the trust. So I'm meeting a stranger, which is I fill up my car with petrol, run inside to pay. I pay inside where the humans are. I don't pay outside at the pump because pumps don't join our business or buy products. And I say to the clerk, I give him my credit card. I says, here's my credit card. And I say a fact that we both can agree upon. So I say, here's my credit card. And, jobs really interfere with the week. He says, oh, yeah, they do. And, 2 paychecks would be better than 1. Oh, yeah, you and I sort of think the same. And we all would like to fire the boss. Oh, yeah, I hate being human target practice guarding my boss's money. Yeah, you and I are joined at the hip, Vulcan mind meld, blood brother, blood sister. A couple little facts in normal social conversation will build that trust. And just like that, we're bonded. So the next question in people's mind is what you're going to be talking about, is it going to be interesting or not? And here's where we might be using icebreakers or story techniques. But the point is, when you meet a stranger, what do you say to get them to join your business? You don't. The first step you have to do is get them to believe and trust you, because if they don't believe and trust you, no matter what you say, it's not going to work. You could say the compensation plan at Gold pays this percentage. It doesn't mean anything if they don't believe what you say. So strangers, rapport first. One more tip on rapport, because question 2 out of 5 is pretty important. Can I trust you? The second way of doing it is using a hardcore program in people's minds. Babies at 6 weeks can't even roll over. They can't talk. They're on their back. That's all they can do. But a stranger sticks a head over the crib and looks at the baby. What will the stranger do to get the baby to trust him? The stranger will smile. And at 6 weeks old, the baby can react and smile back. So from 6 weeks of age, we already have a hardcore program that says this: people who smile can be trusted. Now, this is one of the stupidest programs ever given to humans. But the point is, if you and I smile, people say, oh, I can trust you. I don't have to be skeptical. Whatever you say is probably going to be true. So if you want to build rapport with somebody, a stranger, and you want to talk to them about your business, the first thing is who you are. Well, can't change that at the moment. But number 2, tell them a couple of facts they agree upon and smile. Now, you're probably in pretty deep rapport. And it's just that quick. A couple facts and a smile, for most people, you're in. And you say, well, that's pretty good, but can I command their subconscious mind with specific word sequences to the program? So sure. So let's pick one. Write this one down. Well, W-E-L-L, comma, you know how. If you say, well, you know how, the back of the prospect mind says, well, if I know how, then it must be true, because what I know is true. No further proof needed. No video, no demonstration, no flip chart, no research report. Think about the ramifications of just being able to use, well, you know how. So let's try this. You meet a stranger, you're in the grocery store line, and maybe it's a long line. It's crowded. It's Friday evening, payday. Everybody's buying their groceries, and you might say, "Hi," and he says, "Where are you from?" "I'm right here locally." You say, "Well, you know how everybody gets paid on Fridays, and that's why it's so crowded here." And they go, "Yeah, we built report just like that." Or, "Well, you know how groceries are so expensive nowadays." "Yeah, we built rapport there." Or, "Well, you know how it'd be fun to shop on weekday mornings when the stores aren't crowded." "Yeah." "Well, you know how" is a little command that you can use throughout the week here and just see how it works for you. But if you say, "Well, you know how," most people say, "Hey, you and I are on the same wavelength." And if you don't believe this phrase works, stand by the coffee machine at work, listen to how people talk, and subconsciously they will use the command, "Well, you know how," to get the other people to believe whatever they say are their point of view. Just listen to them and they'll say, "Well, you know how the traffic is so bad on 401 this morning," and, "Well, you know how this coffee is really bad," and, "Well, you know how we need more time off on weekends," and, "Well, you know how we're underpaid," and, "Well, you know how the boss makes all the money," and, "Well, you know how it just goes on and on and on." So that's a nice phrase to use, and that's a really long answer to a short question. So Barney, let you ask some more questions. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. It was really good. One thing that came to mind as you were talking there is that from my experience has been that when you go and there's like this weirdness that happens when you're like, I'm going to talk to a stranger or a prospect, or I'm going to talk to them about the business. And as you said, you started saying that in the beginning of the call, is people respond to us more so in how we in our posture with how we approach them. And I would you agree that if you just look at a stranger or a prospect as just another good friend, and you're just making small talk with them, that it's casual? Have you found that to be effective as well to build that connection?
Yeah, that's a way of doing it. The longer you spend with somebody, the more rapport. Now they're not a stranger.
Right.
We can accelerate it by using cool words like, "Well, you know how," or "I am just curious," to some of the words we used here, but it's just a matter of building rapport. And you're right, Barney. If you don't do that, if you don't know about the words, the phrases, the programs, we're going to feel kind of weird and sleazy and icky talking to these people, trying to recruit them, especially if they're a stranger. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a weird feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just thought I'd put that out there for everybody listening, that and to really bridge the gap with what you're saying, Big Al. That's what I found has worked for me. That even though I'm a blue personality, and then red probably more so. So I'm like okay with talking. I'm okay with just talking to anybody. But sometimes I do get a little nervous and feeling as though I'm uncomfortable and I'm talking to this person. And it's just, but when you take that weirdness out of it and just you're just talking to a human being just to get to know them, and if it leads to them joining, great, and if not, then it's practice, right? So that's what's really worked for me. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Just a couple questions, let them talk, and the longer they talk, the more they like us. Pretty
yeah,
weird, huh?
yeah. And I think the other thing too, before we get to the next question, that I found is sometimes I've had interactions with people, especially in Young Living, but definitely in other businesses and network marketing, and even in the fitness business industry, that when you go to talk to somebody with a specific fixed agenda or an outcome, like they have to join. Of course, we all want them to join our business and opportunity and get the oils in their hands. But if it's not right for them right now, it's not going to happen. I mean, there's more people that I've prospected in the airports and gas stations and while I'm out traveling that haven't joined my team yet, but it's not going to stop me from keep doing it and continuing to get better.
Yeah, if we get rapport with people, it gets pretty easy. For the people that have want a shortcut on how to do that, if you have a pen, write down these two 6-word questions. Here's the first 6 words. What do you like most about? And the second question is, what do you like least about? those two questions can turn an amateur into a pro overnight. And when you ask somebody what do you like most about something, that's not invasive or anything. It's people like to talk about what they like about it. And what do you like least about? People will tell you their problems. And remember, our job is to solve people's problems. That's why we're in business. So a quick example is somebody says, I just can't lose weight. And you say, well, what do you like most about your current weight loss program? Well, I kind of like the fact that I can sometimes have a chocolate shake, you know. What do you like least? Oh, I hate the exercise part, and I hate the starving part. And all of a sudden, they tell you their problems, and they also tell you when you do your presentation what you should focus on. So those two little questions build rapport, tell you the problems. They're pretty magical. So anyway, let's go on to the next question.
Sure. Um, so the question was just about with maybe a little bit more specific to Young Living, but I think this is a good way to. This is a good question. Is what about people who join? They get started, and then they don't necessarily really take it to the next level. So in this case, they order a kit and then they don't open it or really schedule a time to go over the opportunity or the products.
Okay, let's be kind of direct. Maybe some people won't like it, but let's look at the reality of what happened here. Somebody joins, they are excited, they're motivated, they come to a meeting, they give us their money. So when they join, how many skills do they get in their new profession when they fill out the app online? And the answer is none. So here they are, they've joined, they're excited, they're wanting to make this work, but they have absolutely no skills. What's the odds of them guessing the right sequence of words to talk to people? And the answer is zero. So they go out and they say stupid stuff to people. So they say stupid stuff to people, and people say, no, I'm not interested. It's not for me, because they said the wrong words. Well, these new people, they're not stupid. They have common sense. They say, wait a minute, I go out and I say these words. People tell me no, I get rejected. That's terrible. I'm going to stop saying these words. I have common sense. I can't say these words anymore. And they don't. And then they say, but my sponsor has never given me the correct word sequences to say, so I'll just sit here and watch my business die. So it's not a motivation problem. It's not a goal problem or anything. It's a training problem. And as sponsors, we need to teach people the specific word sequences to say, like we're talking here tonight, like would it be okay if, and or what do you like most about? What do you like least about? Well, how, sequences like this for each of the 5 steps that goes through people's minds. And if we refuse to teach them, well, they're going to quit because they don't like taking rejection. That's just stupid. So it's not a problem with them, it's a problem with us. So the short answer is we have to step up and give them the actual hardcore skills. We can't stay in personal development forever. We have to move on and learn words to say.
Right.
And I have a little story I use for people at training sessions. I had this distributor come to me, and the distributor said, "Oh, my prospect said no. How could they? Because I had a vision board. I read a motivational book that morning, and I chanted affirmations, and I sang the company song, and I'm a good person." They told me no. Well, of course they said no, because you didn't say anything good about their problems or how to fix it. You probably didn't have a chance. So there's 2 steps. Both are important. But most people, after a little while, have got enough personal development to get their head right. We've got to learn the words to say because people are just going to react. And I'll give an example. Let's talk to strangers. I go to a party to get a date, and I walk up to the lady and I say, so how old are you? How much do you weigh? Those your real teeth? What color do you dye your hair? How much makeup do you need in the morning? Oh, you're not pregnant? If I don't know what to say, if I don't have the skills of talking to somebody, it's going to be pretty ugly. And I'm not going to get a date. And it's the same for them. If they don't learn what to say, they're probably going to sabotage themselves and make a lot of enemies, and people or talk about them at family reunions. It's up to us to give them the hardcore words to say. So that's the answer to that one, Barney.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's really good, and I think also that it has a lot to do with setting the expectation through, as you refer to it, as the sequence of words that are used. And so uh, I do my best to make sure that when somebody buys the kit or gets started, to set the expectation for the next point of contact or conversation, to set a future date, because I think sometimes this can happen where I think part of the other aspect of the question was that they know what they want to do with their new team member or recruit, but maybe it wasn't made clear to them that when in their last interaction. I've had that before as well.
So, any more questions before we wrap it up?
Yep. There's
What else do we have?
So there's another one just with somebody who gets signed up, and the person is giving the excuses and schedule a time to go over the kit and explain the benefits of the products. I think it possibly sounds like it's the same as before. Would you agree?
Yes, they are. They've already made a no decision in their mind. They got probably intimidated by how big of a job it's going to be to learn new things. They probably got intimidated by a couple of people saying no. Yeah, people get intimidated, so we have to try to be what's called a sponsor in the beginning, which is to be with them for the first few steps until they say, "Oh, I've seen a couple little victories here. Yes, this thing can work." Yeah,
Yeah,
good point.
for sure. Well, I think sometimes, to be honest and frank myself, from my own experience, at the end of the day, if people aren't interested and they don't want to go over the kit and they don't want to build the business, it might sound kind of corny or cliche, but the saying, some will, some won't, so what, somebody's waiting, you know, some people are just not interested. They're not ready. It's not the right time. And no matter, I found, and maybe if you could agree with me, Big Al, you're the expert in this topic, that if some people are not interested or they're just don't want to take it to the next level, when you, as you've said, I'm just curious, I get the feeling that you were interested at one point and now you're not. And is that accurate? And they might say yes. And or if they,
Yeah,
if they're not interested, then you just move on, right?
yeah, it's not their time, and we all have time. Not every moment of every day is going to be the perfect time for even us to join a business.
Yep.
So we just respect that. And we can do something about it as we get better skills. We could leave what's called a time delay word picture in their mind that reminds them about our business every couple of days so we don't have to follow up, make it automatic.
Yep.
So we can place a little story in their mind that rotates and does all the follow up for us. So when the time is right and it's a good match, it's automatic.
Right.
So yeah, we need to respect people's choices.
Yeah, no, that's good, just to leave them with the image at the time, when the time is right, that they can come back and get started.
Good.
Yeah. Perfect. So I put the website up here, so you would, people can go in and just fill out that form, and they'll get the Why You Need to Start Network Marketing ebook, and then the magic words for prospecting and magic words for prospecting basically part one and part two, right?
Yeah, they'd have to go to bigalbooks.com. And if they went to bigalbooks.com, there's 2 audios there on how to recruit people from a live workshop in Dallas that they can download for free. That's usually within most people's budget. It's just going to take a little bit of effort, just download. And there's also a book called Why You Need to Start Network Marketing. And that book's pretty good for bulletproofing new distributors. They say, oh, look at all the cool things here. And that way their relatives and friends and initial bad experiences won't talk them out of it. So if they went to bigalbooks.com, just click on free and download and listen and have a great time.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, thank you for providing that and answering the questions and going over this. I think a lot of it really is just repetition and continuing to learn and grow and putting the work in, because you can do all the personal development and listen to this information on the call and presentation, but then not actually put it into practice and application, and then you never really know if it actually works for yourself.
Yeah, we need 2 steps to walk. We just can't hop on one leg forever. So yeah, learn the skills.
That's true. Well, that's great. Well, we will let you continue on with your day. I know that it is morning for you over there in Asia, and it's nighttime for me over here in Eastern Standard Time in Canada. And really appreciate it, Big Al.
All right, thanks for inviting me on the call, and for everybody on the call, good luck using better sequences of words. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.